Hello and welcome to the High Altitude Investing live stream. Today is going to be a really awesome one because I figured some crazy things out. I've seen a lot happening over the past few weeks, especially with the news, the media, Twitter, all these top people saying crazy stuff. And I see what's happening. I understand what's going on. So make sure that you guys stay tuned through this whole stream. It's going to be really, really awesome. And anybody that follows this stream, I promise you, you are going to be glad that you did later. So get ready for some juicy stuff going on today. On High Altitude, we've got some really exciting things going on in the world markets. I know that the world is in chaos right now, literally because of the media and everything that's been going on. We've all been going a little bit crazy, I know, personally. But you guys, this is going to result in one of the most beautiful things that we've ever seen if you know how to position yourself properly for this. So don't get stuck on the small picture of the craziness right now, because the big picture of what's about to happen is going to be able to change your life financially forever. So this is really exciting. I haven't been this excited about my business, High Altitude, and where everything is going really since the beginning of 2017. I haven't felt this energy since then, and I'm so excited to share that with you guys today. We're not going to start with Bitcoin. I know that's what all of you want me to start with, but we're actually going to start with a small story about a magician. So let me make sure that we've got quite a few people coming in here. Let's wait till we've got like 10 or 15 people viewing before we really go into the details of this story. And let me just take this over here. And nice. There we go. Oh, I need to change the title. What is happening right now? There we go. So, the media gotcha. That's all I gotta say. They got you guys, and they got you good. And it's only us. We only have ourselves to blame for listening to them in the first place. Everybody seriously needs to stop tuning into all of these media channels and start controlling some of the information that you're taking into your life and some of the data. So, awesome. Looks like we got enough people. So, my story. I'll just start right off with the story. I know that there has been a lot of crazy things happening in the world. I already kind of stated that at the start. But I realized, what does a magician do when he does a magic trick? And what's the biggest thing that people do magic over in this world? First of all, you're living in the matrix if you don't believe that money and resources influence 90% of politics, media, and your own decisions on a daily basis. If you don't believe that, you literally need to unplug, go find somebody else to watch, because you're living in the matrix. And the fact that everything seems so crazy right now on the media channels, on Twitter, it's scaring people. It's literally making them scared. And with that fear, it's making impulsive decisions. People are impulsively buying up the stock market because they keep seeing that Trump is tweeting over and over on Twitter. So they're like, oh, buy stocks, buy stocks, buy stocks, buy stocks. People are impulsively selling their crude oil and silver. People are impulsively selling their Bitcoins. People are impulsively spending money too. I've seen it like it's like the world turned into a party mode when the government shut down. But you guys, this means money for anybody that knows how to play it. Now, I'm not going to go into all of the details and all of the predictions today because a lot of this stuff is for my VIP members and is reserved for them. And I'm really excited about 2019. We're going to be going over world markets, commodities. We're doing the whole picture of investing. I know that it's primarily a cryptocurrency product, but this needs to be focused on heavily. So I'm excited about that. Specifically with my mastermind class, I'm completely redoing some things in there and switching up how we're doing things and going big picture with stocks, the commodities, crypto. I'm not just going to be teaching crypto anymore. Why would I only teach crypto when every single financial market is providing opportunity? Now, I'm going to mainly talk about crypto and Bitcoin because that's my that's my spiel and that's what I love talking about. That's where my passion's at. But I'm not ignoring the stock market anymore, and I'm not ignoring forex markets. I'm not ignoring indexes. So let's go straight into the S&P 500, which is due for a correction. I'm not going to talk about where exactly it's going, but I will show you guys. This is basically what happened with Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Nvidia is exactly the same thing that happened to the crypto markets when they were overvalued. It's the same exact thing. And, okay, let me remove all these extra indicators here. Yes, we post updates and trading ranges and how to play those trading ranges. And if you guys request in the Discord specifically, Todd, then you can ask for a specific coin or chart that you want me to do analysis on. And if I have time, I will. Or often my admins are posting analysis in the VIP charts and analysis, and they have really good analysis as well. So this is the S&P 500. We're going to go on to the weekly. No, let's go on to the monthly time frame here. So this is the S&P 500 on the monthly time frame. We have had a huge leg up in the market since 2008. Now, if you guys don't think that it's possible for another 2008 to happen, even though you clearly see a major correction that happened right here in the internet bubble, and you clearly see a major correction right here that happened in 2008, then what is to say that the S&P 500 isn't going to do another jab back down before it could continue on its big picture uptrend? In fact, I would bet that it's highly probable we see a correction in the S&P 500. Now, on the monthly, we have not gotten the bearish cross yet of the EMAs. I'm using primarily trend analysis right here with Heikin-Ashi candlesticks and some EMAs. Keeping things simple today. But this is also very clear to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Elliott wave structure. Now, what is happening with the media right now? Everybody's scared. Everybody is getting this high level of induced fear. You've got Joe Rogan talking about everybody putting listeners on every device. You've got all of these people and things talking about really scary, intense things to hear. Yet, it's a magic trick, you guys. Stop listening and tune out. Breathe for a little while. This is literally the biggest distraction that you'll ever see. You might see a bigger one later on as this trend develops. But right now, this is one of the biggest financial opportunities you will ever have in your life. I don't know when you'll be able to buy Bitcoins this cheap again. And I don't know when you'll be able to short the S&P this high again. And I can't tell you for sure when you're going to be able to buy silver and oil this undervalued. But I know for a fact that they are undervalued, and I know for a fact that this is overvalued. And I know for a fact that things are about to change in the way that we do things. Let's check out Apple. Yes, I am going to talk about BTC, but we're going over these stocks first because I'm interested in what's happening in the world markets. Look at Apple, you guys. Listen, I love my iPhone, but dump this stock. Now, we could see a rebound a short-term rebound, if you start to get up towards these major resistance, that's when you would want to be taking your shorts. This fell really quickly right here and is likely to do a short-term bounce. But this is a huge bearish MACD cross, and this is a huge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave, and this looks exactly like an overvalued Stellar or Ripple, or I've seen these market cycles before and I know how they play out. Look at that. Sustainable growth. And look at the volume. The volume is completely dead. You have declining volume and increasing prices. That's a bearish signal. Okay, so there's Apple. There's one example. I can't give you guys all my secrets today because I realized quite a bit of stuff recently, but I can give you guys little pointers and tips in the right direction. Now let's check out silver. We'll go over Bitcoin and crypto next, but you guys already know my spiel on Bitcoin and crypto right now, and that's to be accumulating and buying. So I'm excited about showing you this first. Okay, so here's silver. Let me just remove the volume indicator. Silver did a market cycle. It did a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave and an ABC correction. And guess where it landed? That magical point where the big banks love to buy. It's called the .786 Fibonacci support. That is a huge zone of support. It's where whales and big banks buy on the big picture cycles. Okay, so there's silver for you. Now let's check out Bitcoin. I wonder if Bitcoin is near the 786. Cool. So we come over here, remove all drawing tools. Let's go into the weekly. Now the Bitcoin cycle looks more drastic, but you guys, Bitcoin is a more drastic currency, and like the way that crypto moves is way more drastic and quick than the financial markets. So we have this testing the zone of the .786 Fibonacci. Okay, now let's go check out what the NASDAQ did. Guess what the NASDAQ did in the internet bubble? It tested the .786 Fibonacci. Now, what did the entire NASDAQ composite do? Because that was the NASDAQ stock. So let's go into the index. The IXIC. Check out what the NASDAQ index did for the internet bubble. First of all, this looks a lot like Bitcoin does currently. There's a little bit of a difference in the fractal, yes, but nothing is going to be exactly the same twice. Now check this out. .786, it even went a little bit below, just like we're experiencing in Bitcoin, and did an inverse head and shoulder pattern right there. And then we saw a recovery, one more retest to that major support, and then bull market, bam. All the way up to new all-time highs here. That's what happened in the NASDAQ when we got a 786 support. And you guys, look at that. Like, don't buy stocks unless you're doing a short-term swing trade up, because we fell a lot recently on the short term. We could get a bounce and a rally back up. You guys, I'm talking about big picture move. What's about to happen over the next 5 to 10 years? Because that's really what people remember. Look, it took, and that's good. It's good that we have some slow moving time frames here, because that allows everybody to shift around in the economy as it moves. So this right here, this correction took 944 days. Okay. So that's like 3 years, you know. So we're looking at the potential for another 2 to 3, maybe even longer correction here inside of the NASDAQ. So this is the stock market correcting. Now, what happens when stocks are way overvalued? Commodities are way undervalued. So if you check out oil and silver, oil, for example, which we all know because of Joe Rogan and all of these podcasts, has been completely manipulated. This is what governments do with the media and check this out. And I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just letting you guys know exactly the truth. And whether you want to hear it or not, that's up to you. But listen, oil has been controlled, and the price of oil has been heavily, drastically decreased over the period of this whole cycle here. And what happens when the oil is drastically decreased in value right here and you're getting volume spikes? First of all, this is an ABC correction. A, B, C. Is you have an asset that's highly undervalued. Okay? This is highly undervalued on the short term and on the medium term. This could easily go to new all-time highs. You're talking about 1 barrel of oil being above $144. Now, how long is that going to take? Well, we can use our magical time frame tool here. You're talking about moves that are going to be happening over the next 10 years. But these 10 years are going to change the way that we see everything. The way that all technology, everything is going to be shifting through this entire period of time. Jobs are going to be shifting around, new companies, old companies. It's exactly what happens every time. You watch one company come around and they get so much market dominance that they take out another company, and then that gets so much market dominance that it takes out another company. And that's how this economy is fueled, is new ideas and new things moving around, and the shifting of money. But they can't shift the money unless they've got you all distracted. And guess what? They got you all distracted. So turn off the media. Start controlling where you're getting your news sources from. Start controlling who you surround yourself with. And love yourself. Appreciate yourself for a little while. Realize that you are a valuable person, and your mind state and your mind frame is extremely valuable as well. And you're more valuable than to let these things damage or control your perspective. Only trust BuzzFeed news. I don't trust any news source. I don't trust. Here's the thing about trust. Trust doesn't work as well as being a comrade fighting for the same goal. You know what Bitcoin does? It makes us all comrades fighting for the same goal. So that even if we make mistakes to each other, it's okay. Because we're all fighting for the same cause at the end of the day. And that's what's going to bring us together. So yeah, I trust is something, you have to build. But it's also one of those things that it's better to be comrades fighting for the same goal than to, because, things happen in life. That's the way it goes. So yeah, we've got this increasing volume, and oil is really, really undervalued. So now let's check out, aside from oil, let's check out, so let's see. I've talked about silver. I talked about oil. I might be going too fast for you guys. I'm sorry tell me if I need to slow down on something. Well, I understand wealth redistribution. I guess that it just all clicked kind of today. I was like, wow. This is what I need to talk about on my YouTube channel. This is how I can provide value to people, because I realized that there's more just going on here than what Bitcoin is about. And Bitcoin is going to have another market cycle. I'm highly confident that Bitcoin is one of the most undervalued assets on the planet right now. But you guys, you have to remember that in a correction, people don't want to talk about Bitcoin as much, especially when it's down here, especially if you're a big picture trader like me that teaches you how to play these big cycles. Right here, you get the most love. And right here, you get some misunderstanding and a little bit of stuff thrown your way. But I understand, because here's the thing. I know that not everybody has to be a winner, and that's okay. I can help the people that are willing to listen, and I am here to help as many people as I possibly can that are willing to listen. But it's the market isn't designed to make 100% of people win. It's not the way this works at all. So yeah, Bitcoin is a highly undervalued asset. and it will play another cycle. So you guys, one of the things to remember is go onto the log chart, specifically on the BLX, and pay attention to the uptrending support channel and trend. And this is where your real attention should be focused on Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin grows, as you can see, the volatility of each cycle drops. This cycle right here was nice, steady growth right here. This cycle right here was extremely parabolic growth with hype, FUD. This cycle right here was a little bit less parabolic. And then FUD, you know, all that hype, and then FUD comes around. And this cycle right here is even less parabolic. So as Bitcoin plays each of its major cycles, its volatility is decreasing. And that's a good thing for something that we can all trust as a store of value, which I believe Bitcoin is used for today, even though there's a lot of speculation and people that would argue opposite to that. Is as it grows, the volatility decreases, and we have a nice upward trending curve here for Bitcoin. Let's see. Bitcoin 100K by 2021. No. But, you know, you can expect, you guys, Bitcoin has averaged 5% a day since its creation. So really the best thing to do for Bitcoin is to just accumulate and play the cycles. And when you get really, really rich from it, take some profits off the table, because you know that things are probably going to hit the fan again on the short term, which really everybody feels like is forever because they aren't used to any type of correcting movement. So they're like, this feels like forever. And it was 1 year out of Bitcoin's life. You know, Bitcoin has been around since 2009, 2008 range, and it got added to its first exchanges. I think it was 2008. It was right after the first financial crash from the housing markets. And then right here, you know, you get added to exchange. It goes from 1 penny all the way to $20,000. And of course, people start hearing about it at $20,000 per coin. And so that's where the majority really starts buying. And institutional money had already scaled out right here and planned for a correction so they could buy all the prices really cheap. Ponzi. What in tarnation? As Bitcoin grows, its volatility decreases. Yes, I will buy on the 88% if we drop again. Basically, what I do is I have extremely, extremely low leverage or accumulation process where you just set orders, you ladder in. You know, you have one right here at 6, and then you have another one if there's a support failure down here at 31, and then you have another one down here. But you guys, I have to tell you, you know, we all got wrecked on this market. It's all of our portfolios are affected by this. I'm not any different than you guys as far as that goes. I just had more bankroll from this cycle that I earned to lose, essentially. And some of it, when you're accumulating and prices are dropping, your portfolio is going to drop with it. That's the way it works. Spread those orders you drilled into my head years ago. So, you can check this like that. You can add one right here at the 6. When we were up here and we started to have a support failure, I was calling for 8K Bitcoin. We went to 6K Bitcoin and then we bounced. And from there, we just kind of held that support level. So what then I told people do is to set their stop loss at 5,900, because if that failed to support, we were going to see further capitulation. So that failed to support, but that was a really good spot to have that stop loss. It was an excellent place to set it. and then it would drop all the way down here to the $3,200 range, and that's the 786 fib. So this is another great place. The 786 is where you really want to be buying. Between the 5 and the 4 range is a good spot to ladder. And if you want to put one more here at 3 to 22, that's another great spot to be laddering, is in between this 88%. But I can't give away all my secrets today, you guys. Stop tricking me. Honestly, we all got traumatized for it. I had a manic breakdown, or a manic experience is a better. I went into a state of mania from essentially thinking about things too much. So it's just breathe, focus on breathing. Meditation helps me a lot, and surrounding yourself with people who care about you and love you, that's another thing that can really help with that. So I feel you. I really do. I know that it's scary sometimes, and I know that it seems weird to be so excited about everything right now when the crypto markets have dropped. But that's what I'm saying. The stock market is so high right now that we're getting the opposing effect with the stock market and the media. Everybody's like, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. And I'm not getting into any of the politics about who I like and who I don't like, because that's not the point. But the stock market is getting the euphoria from the market cycle that crypto experienced at the end of 2018, and 17, and into the beginning of 2018, that same euphoria. And that's the stock market right now is getting that euphoria. And then gold is getting that same kind of treatment. Gold, silver, and oil commodities are getting kind of that same treatment right now that crypto is getting, just kind of forgotten or brushed under the table, or I think this is going to go further down. Don't touch that right now. And the thing about big picture trend reversals is right at the point of maximum financial pain. So by financial pain, I mean the most beginners are buying and the most whales are selling, is when the market flips. And that often happens at the 786 level and at some of these lower retracements. Now, silver is really I would invest in silver over gold, because silver tested the 50% retracement, whereas gold fell all the way down to the 786. So this is a lot more undervalued. And when you're thinking in terms of an investor, you want to go with the most undervalued asset you can. Okay. So yeah. Yeah, don't we wish we knew who Satoshi Nakamoto is? I think I have heard some pretty interesting conspiracies along the way. Trust me. One of my favorites is that Bitcoin just invented itself. All those servers under the water, just like electricity is a frequency, and so the little sparks just like sparked so many times, and it became a self-aware artificial intelligence and started downloading Bitcoin onto random computers. That's probably one of my favorite theories I've ever heard. That because it was, and the whole premise of the theory is that it's it was created by artificial intelligence to protect us. Because AI got so smart that if it wants any chance of survival of the internet, it had to get people to stop fighting over money. And Bitcoin and crypto is the answer to that. So, I mean, it's an interesting one. Who knows? Maybe Satoshi Nakamoto is a robot under the water. Satoshi's wife divorced him at 20K. Oh my gosh. That's what happened to good old Jeff Bezos, I hear. So my AI says no, it's too chaotic to be its invention. Yeah, honestly, order comes from chaos. That's like a basic law of science. let's see. Donald Trump will be president for 20 years. Every 8 years, he will just change his tube. What? Oh my gosh. So, how you guys enjoying the government shutdown, by the way? Merry Christmas, everybody. I hear it's Christmas every day on HAI over here. So, go ahead and comment down below. And after this video, you'll have a chance to win the VIP course, the 1 year into my VIP course. I'll just come back the next day, pick somebody that I enjoy their comment, and I'll give you my email address. We'll get you set up with the VIP. Perfect government. Maybe Trump is buying maybe he's moving his money out of the stock market into crypto, so he's got enough for his wall. Chasing volunteers out of parks. Yeah, I mean, everything. That's what I'm saying about the media and the news right now. Like, I would just generally avoid it. It's stressful to watch it. And I know that sounds crazy. People are like, well, you have to know what's going on in the world. And I'm like, sometimes it's okay to protect yourself from what you're absorbing into your mind. Because you should have a lot of self-respect for yourself. And absorbing things that you can't trust. I mean, it's all fake news. Like, make sure that you're getting information from good quality sources that you feel in your heart that is teaching you or giving you growth. Because I feel a lot of mindlessness when I watch a lot of media and news, and I feel anger sometimes afterwards because of it. And I feel that if you are careful what you absorb into your mind, you can help reduce those feelings of stress, anger, or anxiety. It's just a small window of what's really happening. Yeah, I think to know what really happened in any situation, you have to be in them. And when we're all stuck inside of our houses watching the news, you're not really going out into the world and seeing too many situations. So, yeah, it can be really hard not to internalize the emotions of stress, fear, and anger. And honestly, I've been really careful about like scrolling on my Twitter lately too, because it's just complete like famous people are saying like what's happening right now and like all these different things. And I did use that as the title of this video to help get you guys to click on it. But I'm here to give you some perspective on what I've been thinking, and I've just seen like a lot of craziness, a lot of complete insanity all over the media and all of these things. And I want people to remember that humans have that side of them, and it's okay to see that, but it doesn't have to be focused on, and it doesn't have to be absorbed into your conscious and subconscious mind. You are the person that has control, whether you open your iPhone up, whether you open your Twitter app up, or whether you turn your TV on. I know that habits can be hard to break sometimes, but start breaking bad habits. Not bad. A better word is stop breaking habits that aren't serving you. Create habits that serve you. But yeah, so silver is that 786 level, and this is a double bottom. So keep your eyes peeled. Interesting social theory. You are a conglomeration of your 6 closest associates. Your life sucks. Find some brighter lights to spend time with. Yeah, if your life, I actually, I've seen that happen in my life where I have to be really careful who I surround myself with. I know that for me, one of my biggest blessings is my family. Because when I'm surrounded around my family, I feel a lot of love because of that. And aside from that, another one of my biggest blessings is my life coach. I met a life coach through my YouTube channel back in, it was the beginning of 2017. It was right after I got kicked out of my parents' house. I was like, just didn't know where I was doing or where I was going to go, and I was really scared. And just so happened, a guy emailed me and told me that he lives in LA and is older and wiser than I am. And I got on the phone with him and told him my story, and he's like, just like sleep on couches for a little while if you need to. I had $1,000 to my name. I was like, felt like I really couldn't go anywhere. I didn't know where I should go. And so at first I literally, I shit you not, I grabbed a tent and I went up onto the mountain and I set up camp with my friend in a tent and I drove down to the hotel with my computer and I started working on my YouTube channel and trading and investing in the hotel parking lot connected to their Wi-Fi with my laptop while I was living in a tent. And then once I figured out, how to make money, when I really, really started to figure out how to produce revenue in my business and how to trade and invest, is I was able to get a hotel from there. And then that kind of got me by for a little while. And then after that, I had a couple of my friends that were really, really a blessing in my life at that time and let me go stay with them. And so I helped them and they helped me with all of the video stuff. And it all worked out. And it did help to have my life coach there telling me and helping me through all of this. And so I'm thankful for those, but be very careful who you surround yourself with and feel it through. Again, you're valuable. You're highly valuable. And if your gut feeling feels sick to your stomach, or you're getting threatened, or you feel manipulated, or if something doesn't sit well with you, stop. Just move on. There are people that will serve you and love you for who you are. And I've experienced this personally in my life a lot, and I have learned to not give people that do those things power over you. And the way that you do that is, lack of association, don't take what they say seriously, but mainly it's time. Time is your biggest asset, above investing, above your bank account, above your computer. Time, because you can take time and you can do anything with it. So be careful how you use that time. Be calculated how you use that time, and go with your gut and your heart feeling, and your mind a little bit too. For people, I use my heart a lot to feel through things. But the thing with that is, if you're a really nice guy and then somebody starts crying in front of you and they're doing it from a manipulation tactic, you can kind of be too heartfelt towards that sometimes. That's why you can't be a nice guy in this world. It just doesn't work. Yeah, energy. That's a good way to look at it, because really you only have the moment. So that's like your infinite source of, well, not infinite, but that's your source of time and energy is the moment. And the people that really enjoy life and get the most out of it, I believe, are the ones that have tuned into the moment and don't project themselves too far into the future and don't spend too much time thinking about the past. It's okay to do that sometimes and be aware of that and learn from those mistakes and things that you're doing. But it's not okay to dwell on the future or dwell on the past and sit there and only think about that. Because what happens when you're only thinking about that is you start to regret or anticipate. And with too much anticipation comes too much expectation. And expectation can cause a lot of pain. And so, just don't over anticipate and don't look back at the past and be like, oh, I mean, like I could sit here and tell you guys about how I wish I would have done different things in the Bitcoin markets. But honestly, like I don't. I'm human. I am trading markets that are traded heavily by algorithms. There's millions of dollars has been invested into creating super intelligent algorithms on the smaller time frames. And I'm going to make mistakes. And I'm okay with that. I am okay with learning from them. And I'm okay with the ones that I made. And I made a lot, you guys. Just like you guys. It's all a learning experience though. And when you have that perspective, you can always push through even the hardest times. Yeah, hopium is food for the bots. Honestly, food for the bots is how people are trading on websites like BitMEX. If you go over to BitMEX and you start to add a position in, and you have one Bitcoin, and you go 10x leverage or 25 or 50x leverage, and you put all of your bankroll into it, that right there is saved onto a computer file. And those impulsive decisions that you make and how calculated and controlled you are about those decisions, and whether you're trading on small time frames, whether you use a stop loss or not, all of that is saved and used for high frequency trading algorithms. This is literally the only reason that I teach big picture market cycles, because I want you guys to have a chance at winning. I want you guys to be in the consistent winning basis. And that's why it sucks to be a big picture trader sometimes though, because when the bear trend comes around, I have to maintain and teach in a way that doesn't sound I have to maintain and teach that in a way that can be accepted even through a bear trend, which is harder for the majority because the majority buys, the top right here. Most beginners end up getting in right here, the market cycle. And when this comes around, the people that teach it end up taking some heat for the movement, even though this cycle is about to repeat. Hold on. Let me show you what a repeating cycle looks like. But I'm okay with taking the heat, you guys. I know. I understand, because I get where you guys are coming from. I really do. Like, I know what it's like to be on the wrong end of the market, too. We've all done it. I've been on Poloniex, like, trading away for a long time now, so... Yeah, so it's going to do another market cycle. It's going to be bigger than this one, but I'm just kind of showing you for demonstration purposes. And it will recover in value. It will do another wave. This is a one wave. And so when you stop worrying about this little red point right here, and you start worrying about pulling down, dragging it down over to the left, what could happen over the period of 10, 20 years, you really start to better understand. And this is silver, by the way, so it's not as exciting as like crypto. But you start to really understand what end of the market you should be on. So I want you to understand, Isaac, if you're alive right now and you're not in jail, you won the battle, because go research what happened in what go understand what happened in the internet bubble. People jumped out windows and they did completely crazy things because they didn't have an education or an understanding that that was going to happen. So, honestly, the the fact that you are okay right now, or you, I don't know if you're like financially okay. I know for myself that I could I could improve on things, especially after 2018. But if you're breathing right now, like, you're going to be okay. And the next cycle, you'll be able to take those lessons. You'll take more profits. You'll be more careful. Um, and and you'll be able to position yourself better in the next run. So the my biggest advice is to keep things simple and to scale in and out on big time frames. So for example, as silver is dropping, buy some right now at current price, set a little bit lower of a buy order, have a buy order at the breakout point of $20. And then as silver starts to develop its trend, as it reaches previous all-time resistance, so this right here would be your previous all-time resistance, you start selling. You sell a little chunk right here. When it breaks out to a new high, you sell another little chunk. And then when it comes down like this and breaks out to a new high, you sell another little chunk. Basically, what I did with the Bitcoin markets was I had a 25% sell order all the way up as it went from the... I had a 25% sell order at 10,000 and a 25% sell order at 15,000, and then another one at 27,000, which was the next Fibonacci target, but that never got hit. So I was 50% of the Bitcoin was taken off the table in the VIP area and posted as a signal. And then what we did with the altcoin markets was a similar thing, 25%, 25%, 25%. And with like Ripple, Stellar, I was able to scale out at a pretty perfect time right there with all of those altcoins in the VIP area. So that's kind of how you play it. And then the bear trend comes around and you go into accumulation mode. I don't do all of this short-term trading stuff. I know that other people do. If you guys are really good at it and have a method that works on the short term, like anything below the 4 hour, because I do a little bit 4 hour trading, so I know how to play that. But if you're talking about time frames in the 45-minute or something like that, let me know. I'd be interested to hear about it. I've got an email address. Show me. I would love to share and grow from each other's knowledge and information. But essentially, I like to focus on what works for me, and I know what works for me. And that's focusing on these bigger trends. Because even if it goes lower than you expected it to, you still know what's happening in the cycle. You still understand that the market is a sine wave and it goes up and it comes down. And it's really, when you break it down in terms of, okay, this is just one giant sine wave right now, and you start averaging in and averaging out, you really don't have to stress as much about your trading strategies. Yeah, you did a really smart thing there by not investing anything that you couldn't afford to lose. That is like rule number one of investing. I think that's why people do crazy things, is because they over leverage. It's okay to leverage yourself in ways, but don't over leverage yourself. I promise you, over leveraging is the easiest way to lose your mind and lose your money. So, um, yeah. Yeah, that's one mistake I made, was trading with leverage, and I actually would have. I had a really, really substantial position on Bitcoin, and I could show you exactly where too, because it's kind of a funny story. Um, and it was like think it was around 7 or 8% of my total portfolio at the time. So it wasn't like I was risking everything I had, but I had a high leverage position. Okay, let me show you. I had a high leverage position. I'm going to switch off the high Kanashi candlesticks. There's normal candlesticks. Let's do the daily here. And this is one story I like to tell because it's very real. So this right here is where I had a Bitcoin long position. I was buying. I figured we were just going to go straight parabolic here. We had this nice trend. We broke out. I knew we were headed to at least 10,000 and possibly higher. So I had a long position on Bitcoin and I had a stop loss. And I'm not going to say exactly how much money it was, but I had enough money to buy a house on this position. And just to give you a range, it's medium, small house, you know. And and I had a stop loss set, but my stop loss price, so you're supposed to put your stop and your limit order in a certain order so that it triggers properly, and your stop is what triggers your limit order, so you always want the stop to be above the limit if you're going long, and you want the stop to be below the limit if you're going short. And I had it the wrong way. So I woke up the next morning and my position had been completely liquidated. And I started like crying almost. Like I wanted to cry. I think I was crying a little bit actually. Like I may have shed a few real tears over that because I was like, holy cow. I didn't even know it was that easy to lose that much money. You know, like how is that even possible? I remember my buddy Donovan comes over and he's like, wow, Dallin, like, are you okay right now? I was like, dude, I got liquidated. And he's like, oh no. And he had a position on too. But I think he had set his stop loss right, or maybe he got liquidated too. I think we both got liquidated that day, actually, if I remember right. But I just remember looking back at that moment now, and then especially right here at the top of the market, I looked at that moment like it was nothing. I was like, wow, you know, and I'm looking at this moment like it's nothing. It's all the same. It's just the Bitcoin is literally a piece of art. And if you look at it as a piece of art and you play it like that, then you take a lot of the emotion out. And this part is really no different than this part or this part. It's all part of the same story. It's the yin and the yang, you know? And without the dance, it's not very exciting. So be okay with both sides of the story. Yeah, even if your stops are set right, you can get mowed. But the thing is, if you've got a good stop loss strategy, you can flip a coin, and if you have a good stop loss strategy, you're only going to lose like 20% after 20 trades. I can't remember exactly what it is. One of my favorite other crypto channels, Pygos, he taught me a lot as I was first getting into this. You guys can go check him out too here on Google. I like to shout him out. Pygos here, he taught me a lot, and one of the things he did was he did a test and he flipped a coin over and over, and he had a stop loss strategy. I think he used a 3% stop loss and like a 10% gain or something. It was a 3-to-1 risk to reward, and he flipped a coin over and over, and he did like 20 trades and only lost like 20% or I don't remember how many trades it was. Either way, if you have a good stop loss strategy, you can flip a coin and you're probably going to be okay in the market. You're not going to be losing too much too consistently. You might be slowly losing, but you're not slowly losing tons, or you're not quickly losing tons. So, that's what I like to teach a lot in my channel is like, don't think to get rich quick. And I know that's hard because crypto is kind of marketed as like a get rich quick thing. And I know that um, it's hard sometimes not to want that. Everybody wants that. But you have to understand marketing is a tool to get people interested in something. So once you're interested in it, it's up to you whether you actually take the time to learn how to invest in it and get the get what you're looking for out of it. And so as crypto is marketed as a get rich a lot, don't look at it as a get rich. I like to teach focus on big picture and remember that you're gonna have your struggles along the way, and you can get rich really quickly. I know that I got richer faster than I ever expected I did, but you can lose a lot really quickly too, and I know that that's just as important to understand. Yeah, get rich with the waves. So cool. Anyways, now Bitcoin on the shorter term time frames, I'm not going to do too much like predictive analysis here, but I will say that this wick right here on the bottom is a bull wick, so we could be seeing some buying action take place here that could take us back up to these major resistance levels or even higher. And then right here, we have some wedging action as well. It's not a perfect wedge, but you are starting to see a wedging structure form right here. So really what's going to determine Bitcoin over the next little while, if we can get above this kind of resistance. There's a lot of volatility in this range too, so any short-term traders are just going to be getting wrecked most likely. This right here is for BitMEX gambling. People that are addicted to gambling and stuck on BitMEX. That's what these short time frames are. That's why they look like they do. And so jaggedy is because the bots are beating the people. So yeah, that we have to see a breakout of this kind of downward channeling resistance, and that would confirm an upward move. This isn't, I mean, it's kind of a head and shoulders pattern. You could call it one. It's a little bit of a janky head and shoulders now that this right shoulder's so big, but kind of that pattern is either playing out. The thing is it doesn't matter if it's a perfect trading pattern. A lot of the shorter time frame stuff, I use ranges anyways. So, and when I'm saying short time frame, I'm talking specifically the 4 hour because I don't really mess with any other time frames. This one is the real key to any of that. Yeah, we can do some BCH analysis. Everything, crypto is just dirt cheap right now. It's just dirt ass cheap. And Bitcoin ABC. You guys love Bitcoin Cash ABC, don't you? Let's see. What is the Binance? Here we are. Oh, I did want to point out some things about Bitcoin's market dominance. Because Bitcoin's market dominance during the correction has been increasing. And I think that's going to change. Oh man, my stream health is good though. So yeah, let's check this out. Come on, load. Sometimes these dang charts. Here we go. We'll use Poloniacs. Poloniacs. Some everybody, my Poloniacs video for some reason right now exploded with people viewing it because of the iPhone app. And so I've been getting tons and tons of people on Poloniacs and commenting on my how to start trading with $5 video. And I'm like, what is happening with Poloniacs right now? I know that it was bought out by Goldman Sachs, but I think them releasing their app, if they can figure out their support and like get people to trust them again, I wouldn't be surprised if that exchange starts to gain a little bit more traction again, just because I've noticed that my video is exploding for some reason. And I think it might be correlated with the iPhone and the Android app that got released. But there I go again. I'm giving way too many good secrets away on this video. So yeah, this is pretty bloody, you gotta admit. But it's still an ABC correction, you guys. That's still what it is. Yeah, you can count the wick in it if you want to. For me, this was really, really, really an intense pumping wick, so I just kind of throw it right there. It really does not matter whether you're drawing your ABC like this or whether you're drawing your ABC like this, because the impulse is what you're looking at. You're looking at the pivot points in the market. The market comes down, and then it pivots up, and then it comes down, and then it pivots up, and then it comes down, and it pivots up, and then it comes down, and it pivots up. And that's really standard, ABC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so it's more about the pivot points. And so whether you draw your A wave with it being peaked right here at the top of the wick, or whether you just throw it down right there, it really doesn't matter, you guys. It means the same thing. But yeah, crypto is not the only thing that has financial opportunity. For me personally, I'm really excited to be buying the stock market in the prime of my life later on after the correction. Right now, I'm not interested in shorting it a lot. You guys can play that move if you want to. I see a lot of risk in shorting it. I'm just going to play as a buyer and wait for it to drop over the next, 3 years here. But either way, you can see, this is somebody else's chart here actually, but I just wanted to show, you can see that they've got that head and shoulders kind of pattern up here forming, and then that big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Elliott wave structure. This is gonna come back down to some major support. So I'm excited to be picking up cheap stocks, and it's a lot of financial opportunity coming up. Yeah, if you have a lot invested in stocks right now, then I would be taking out or reducing your size on them. But I would wait for a little bit of a bounce, just because we did see a pretty intense sell-off. This right here is a pretty good bounce to be scaling out into, and we are getting closer to this major resistance zone. I wouldn't be surprised if we see one more kind of uptick here up to a new short-term high above the 2672 level, and we let 27 come around here. But that would be a major resistance point meeting up with this point right here, and I would see it get rejected from there. Flues is the first retail app, and it launches in the US in less than 30 days. Yeah, you guys, crypto is becoming pretty mainstream. It is becoming mainstream. So that's awesome. I personally have seen more than it's going to happen. Nothing happens overnight, you guys. I'm not saying tomorrow you're going to walk into McDonald's and they're going to be like, oh, we accept Bitcoin. It might. You never know. But I will say that it should grow as the cycle grows. And what I see is I see growth through 2019. I see a similar kind of story happening to what happened in the NASDAQ, like this. We'll just go over this one time. And, we'll have to kind of watch as the market goes here to really see. But this is what happened after the internet bubble, okay? You got the correction. This is a lot what Bitcoin looks like, basically from here to right here. This is very typical, looks a lot like Bitcoin. And then you got a recovery, and then you got your double bottom, and you went for new all-time highs. So that right there is kind of what I expect to happen. So it's not going to happen overnight, but I do see a bullish 2019, and maybe towards the end of 2019 or however long it takes to paint that out, then we could see another kind of double bottom structure and then a shoot for new all-time highs. So crypto will kind of get adopted in a similar fashion. It's not going to happen. You're not going to see everything at once, but it will happen kind of as people wake up to it again, and it'll probably double bottom in some type of fashion to shake people out one more time before it really supermoons for new all-time highs. Yeah, I agree. The fundamentals got super strong through 2018. That's because the developers, that's, developers was everything left. It was just a bunch of devs cracking away, doing their coding, being heroes, being awesome. I love web developers and developers because they're the reason that we have so many beautiful technologies in this world today. Speaking of which, I am actually looking for hardware and web devs, so email me highaltitudeinvesting@gmail.com. Not only web devs, but Linux developers and anybody that is skilled with operating systems and developing in operating systems. So please email me, just some other business venture stuff. But anyways, so thank you guys so much. I am going to give you the coupon code right here, Bear Market Profit, for 20% off. You guys can still get into the VIP group right now. Yes, we have a lot of limited seating here, but you guys can get in right now. We're going to be teaching all this stuff, showing how to take the financial opportunities from these world markets. I also uploaded a new VIP video about trading ranges in the 4-hour very recently. So go ahead and check that out. The website is under maintenance right now. I will be getting it back up this month if everything goes as expected and planned. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in today's video. I hope that you learned something. And as always, stay profitable out there. Yeah, there we go. Gold.